Good afternoon, students. In the previous session, we have discussed about the general characters of gymnosperms. In particular, we have discussed about the origin, distribution, habit and habitat of the gymnosperms. And we have also started with morphology of gymnosperms. And we have discussed about the morphology of root. So, in the previous session, I have explained in brief about the morphology of roots. I told you the main root system in case of gymnosperms is taproot system. If you look here, this one forms the main root system, or it is known as primary root system. From the primary root system, you will find the secondary roots arising here, and from this tertiary roots will arise. So this is the taproot system which you will be find in gymnosperms. So this is the common root system which is present in all the gymnosperms. It is taproot system. So in the last class, I have also mentioned about the coralloid roots. These coralloid roots are the special type of roots which are found in case of cycads. Since these coralloid roots, they just appear like the corals present in the sea. So because of this appearance, they are known as coralloid roots. And these coralloid roots, they show symbiotic association with algae like nostoc and anabaena. So these algae, they help in nitrogen fixation. In case of pinus, I told you, pinus roots show symbiotic association with fungi. That association is known as mycorrhizal association. And these roots are commonly known as mycorrhizic roots in case of pinus. Here you can see the normal roots. These are all the normal roots, white colored ones. Surrounding those roots, you find these thread-like structures. These thread-like structures, they are nothing but mycelium of fungi. So in case of pinus, the roots show symbiotic association with algae. So this is about the morphology of roots. Next, we will move on to the morphology of stem or the morphology of shoot in case of gymnosperms. Normally, the stem in case of gymnosperms, it is aerial. Aerial means it is above the ground, above the surface of the earth. The shoot will be developed above the surface of the earth. And if you look at the branching in case of gymnosperms, in case of cycads, in this image you can see, in case of cycads, the stem is unbranched. There is no branching in case of stem. Only a single stem will be there. At the top of the stem, you will find a crown of leaves. At the tip of the stem, the leaves will arise and they will be having a crown appearance. So, the shoot in case of cycads is unbranched. Even in case of Zamia, there is a species of gymnosperm known as Zamia. In case of Zamia also, the shoot system is unbranched. But in all other cases, in all other gymnosperms, particularly in case of Pinus, Cedrus, Taxus, you will find branched system. You will find a main stem will be there, and from that main stem, branches will be arising like this. Only in case of cycads and Zamia, you will not finding any branching. But in case of Pinus, Cedrus and other gymnosperms, branching will be there. If you look at the branching in case of Pinus, here you will find two types of shoot system or two types of branches you will find. One is long shoot or branches of limited growth. Another one is dwarf shoot or branches of limited growth. What are these branches of limited growth and unlimited growth means? See, you can see here these long shoots, they are known as branches of unlimited growth. Usually the main stem, it bears branches, and those branches they will continue or they gives rise to these branches of unlimited growth. These branches of unlimited growth are nothing but long shoots, and from the long shoots the dwarf shoots will arise like this, and these dwarf shoots usually they bear leaves. So since they do not develop or they do not grow continuously, they are known as dwarf shoots. Once the dwarf shoots develop completely, upon those dwarf shoots these needle like leaves will be appear. So they are regarded as branches of limited growth. The growth is limited here, so they are regarded as branches of limited growth. In case of long shoots, they are nothing but branches of unlimited growth. So this is a special kind of branching which you will be seeing in pinus. And if you look at the internal morphology or internal anatomy of the stem, this stem, particularly one of the advanced gymnosperm, that is Netum, a species of gymnosperm Netum, it shows secondary growth. Even in cycas and pinus also you can see the secondary growth, but in case of Netum, the secondary growth is prominent. That's why that Netum is considered as the advanced gymnosperm. If you look at the vascular system in case of stem, the vascular bundles in particularly xylem and phloem. In case of xylem vessels are absent. All other xylem elements are present, and xylem vessel elements are absent in gymnosperms. You should remember this. Xylem vessels are absent in gymnosperms. All other xylem components are present. Only vessel elements are absent. But in case of Netum, xylem vessels are present. And if you consider the phloem, in case of phloem, companion cells are absent. Companion cells are absent in phloem elements. All other phloem elements are present. In case of xylem, vessels are absent, and in case of phloem, companion cells are absent in all the gymnosperms except Netum. In Netum, both of these are present. So it is regarded as highly advanced group of or highly advanced plant, gymnosperm, highly advanced gymnosperm. Next, we will move on to the morphology of leaves. In case of gymnosperm, you will find various forms of leaves. In different plants, you will find different forms of leaves, and even in the arrangement of leaves on the stem is different in different plants. Usually, you will find both simple and compound leaves, and the size varies from small or minute leaves to larger leaves. In case of Zamia, there is a species known as Zamia pygmea. In that species, the leaves are very minute, they measure in centimeters. And in case of Welwitschia, this Welwitschia is a species of gymnosperm which is commonly found in desert regions. So, if you look at the leaves of this Welwitschia, they are very long. They measure about, each of these single leaves, they measure about 2.5-3 meters in length. So, these are considered as the biggest leaves. Each of this is a single leaf which measures about 2 to 3 meters. So, these are the long leaves which are present in gymnosperms. Next, if you look at the arrangement of leaves on the stem, that is commonly known as phyllotaxy. In case of angiosperm, you refer that as phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is nothing but the arrangement of leaves on the stem. So, if you look at the arrangement of leaves on the stem in case of gymnosperms, either they are spirally arranged or they are whorled. WHORLD. Whorled means from a single point. If you consider this as a stem, the leaves are formed in the form of a circle. From a single point, many leaves will arise like this. So, this is known as whorled phyllotaxy, and it is found commonly in Cedrus. And in case of Welwitschia, Needham and Cupress, you will find opposite phyllotaxy. You can see in this picture here. This is the stem. On this stem, in the opposite direction, the leaves are arising. The leaves arises in the opposite direction. This leaf arises to the exactly in opposite direction to this, and this in opposite to this. So, on the stem, they are arranged in opposite direction. So, this is known as opposite phyllotaxy. This you commonly seen in Welwitschia and even in Needham. Next, coming to the venation. Venation is nothing but the arrangement of veins. See, these veins are very important for transporting water and food. So, the arrangement of these veins on the leaf is known as venation. There are several types of venation are seen in different leaves of gymnosperms. If you look at the Welwitschia, here the leaves show parallel venation. This parallel venation in case of angiosperms, that is in higher plants, it is commonly found in dicots like your maize, paddy, all those plants, they are having parallel venation, means the veins are arranged in the parallel manner. So, you can see here these lines, you can see these lines, these are nothing but the veins. Those veins are arranged in parallel pattern. So, that kind of venation is known as parallel venation, and that parallel venation is common in case of Welwitschia, and even in case of Agathis, you will find parallel venation. And in case of Needham, you will find reticulate venation. Reticulate venation means the veins are having a network. This kind of venation even you can see in all the gymnosperms, most of the angiosperms, particularly higher plants, that too dicot plants. Those dicot plants, they show reticulate venation. Similarly, in case of Needham, you will find reticulate venation, means the network of veins are present in the leaf lamina. They are present in the form of a network. So, this is known as reticulate venation. This is commonly found in Needham. So, this is about the external morphology of leaves. Next, if you look at the internal anatomy of the leaves, one of the important character which is present in gymnosperm leaves is they are having sunken stomata. What do you mean by this sunken stomata? The stomata is not very well developed. In case of higher plants, in case of angiosperms, most of the angiosperms, they show very well developed stomata. But in case of gymnosperms, the stomata is sunken stomata, or it is not very well developed. It is poorly developed stomata. Why it is poorly developed means, I told in the last session, most of the gymnosperms, they are present in harsh climatic conditions. Either they are present in desert areas wherein you will find less water or the temperature is more, or they are present in cold climatic regions. Since they are present in harsh environmental conditions, they have to prevent excessive water loss. If more number of stomata are present, or if the highly developed stomata is present, means what happens? More water loss will be there. Through stomata, water loss will be there. So if more water loss is there, then it becomes problem for the plants. So in order to prevent the excessive loss of water, you will find sunken stomata in case of gymnosperms. This is one of the common or important character in case of leaves of gymnosperms. If you look at the mesophyll tissues, this mesophyll tissue, it is differentiated into spongy and palisade parenchyma in case of Snecas and Netum. In case of Pinus, what happens? This mesophyll tissue is not differentiated. There is a special kind of mesophyll cells are present in case of Pinus. They are known as armed parenchyma. These armed parenchyma, they are nothing but mesophyll cells. They are present in case of Pinus. While explaining the anatomy of needles in case of Pinus, I will explain you about the mesophyll tissue system or the armed parenchyma in case of Pinus. And one of the special character in case of Cycas leaves is that it shows the presence of transfusion tissue. You can find here this rectangular box like structure. This network is nothing but the transfusion tissue. This transfusion tissue, it mainly helps in transporting the food and water to the mesophyll cells which are present above and below the transfusion tissue. So while explaining the anatomy of Cycas leaf, I will explain you about the transfusion tissue. So this transfusion tissue is an important character which is commonly seen in Cycas leaf. And the armed parenchyma, they are nothing but the undifferentiated mesophyll cells which are present in the Pinus needle. Similarly, if you look at the section of Pinus, you can find resin canals are present. Resin canal cells, they are all distributed all along the mesophyll tissue system in case of Pinus. And similarly, you will find mucilaginous ducts also present in case of ginkgo and Netum. In case of the leaf section, you will going to study the leaf section in case of Netum, Cycas and Pinus. That time you can observe the presence of mucilaginous ducts in the mesophyll tissue. And if you look at the vascular bundles in case of Cycas, they are having horseshoe shaped, or they look like inverted omega. Usually the omega is written like this. So usually in case of Cycas, the vascular bundles are arranged in the form of inverted omega. They are having this shape. In inverted omega shape, the vascular bundles are arranged. This is seen in Cycas. And in case of Netum, the arrangement of vascular bundles is arch shape like this, or inverted arch shape like this. The vascular bundles are arranged. So this is about the anatomy of leaf in case of gymnosperms. While studying the Cycas and Pinus in detail, I will explain you about the detailed anatomy of leaf of Cycas and Pinus. So now this much is enough for general characteristics. Next, coming to the reproduction in case of gymnosperms. Usually in case of lower group of plants, particularly in case of cryptogams, in algae, fungi bryophytes and pteridophytes, you will find three types of reproduction systems. One is vegetative reproduction, second one is asexual reproduction, and the other one is sexual reproduction. All these three kinds of reproduction are seen in case of cryptogams. But in case of cycads, particularly in case of gymnosperms, you will find only two types of reproduction system. One is vegetative reproduction system and another one is sexual reproduction system. The main difference between these two is, in case of vegetative reproduction method, there is no involvement of fusion of the gametes. So fusion of the gametes will not occur in case of vegetative reproduction. But if you look at the sexual reproduction, it involves the fusion of male and female gametes. Male and female gametes, they undergo fusion during the process of fertilization and they gives rise to zygote, and that zygote will later gives rise to seed, and from that seed, when it germinates, you can get a new plant. So this is about the sexual reproduction, which involves fusion of male and female gamete. But in case of vegetative reproduction method, the fusion of male and female gametes is not involved. This vegetative method is only seen in case of cycads. In other gymnosperms, it is not present. Only it is present in case of cycads. If you look at the stem of the cycas, usually in the lower region of the stem, in the bottom of the stem, you will find structures like this, and these structures, they are nothing but the bulbils. These are nothing but the bulbils. These bulbils are the vegetative reproductive structures which are present on the stem of the cycas. So once these vegetative reproductive structures, these bulbils, they completely developed on the stem, they detaches themselves and each of the bulbil will grow into a new cycas plant. So only in cycas you will find vegetative method of reproduction, particularly the formation of bulbils on the lower part of the stem. When these bulbils develop completely, they detach themselves from the stem, and when they get sufficient environment, they will develop into a new plant. So this is the only vegetative reproduction method which is found in case of gymnosperms, that too particularly in cycas. In all other gymnosperms, you will find only sexual reproduction system. If you look at the sexual reproduction in case of gymnosperms, in case of higher plants, particularly in case of angiosperms, you might have seen that you will have flowers. The reproductive structures, they are developed inside the flowers. But here in case of gymnosperms, you will not find flowers. Instead of flowers, you will find cones. Cones are regarded as the reproductive structures for gymnosperms. The cones are regarded as the reproductive structures. Instead of flowers, as you see in angiosperms, here cones are present. Usually you will have two kinds of cones. One is male cone and the female cone. Usually the male cone, it bears the male reproductive structures, and the female cone, it bears the female reproductive structures. First let us see about the male cone. So this is the male cone of Pinus. If you look at this structure, these are all the group of male cones which are present on the branches of Pinus. So each this single unit, it is a cone, male cone. So if you take the cross section, if you take the longitudinal section of this male cone, it exactly looks like this. So each of these single units, they are known as microsporophylls. They are known as microsporophylls. So inside these microsporophylls, you can see here this single unit, it is a microsporophyll. Inside each microsporophyll you will have microsporangia, a sac-like, a bag-like structure is present on the microsporophyll. They are known as microsporangium. And inside each microsporangium you will find microspores. These microspores, they later develop into the pollen grains. So this is about the male reproductive structures. The male cones, they are nothing but the male reproductive structures. Each male cone, it bears microsporophylls, and each microsporophyll bears a sac-like or bag-like structure known as microsporangium. Inside the microsporangium you will find microspores. Those microspores will develop into pollen grains. You can see here, these are the pollen grains of Pinus. This Pinus plant, it has a special kind of pollen grains. The pollen grains in case of Pinus, they are known as winged pollen grains. The pollen grain, it has two wings like this. While explaining the reproduction in case of cycas, I will explain in detail about the formation and structure of this winged pollen grain. So this is in brief about the reproductive structures, particularly male reproductive structures. So I have given here the example of Pinus. Similarly, same kind of cones are present, or same kind of structure, it is present in all the gymnosperms. Next, if you look at the female reproductive structure, here the female reproductive structure, it is referred as a female cone. This is an example of a female cone. If you look at the female cone, if you look at the section of the female cone, each of this unit, it is known as megasporophyll, and this megasporophyll, it bears the female reproductive part or ovule. Megasporophyll bears the megasporangium, and that megasporangium bears megaspore, and that megaspore will develop into ovule, and that ovule, it bears female gamete or the egg. It bears the egg. This is about the structure of female cone. It bears megasporophylls, and that megasporophyll, it consists of megasporangium. Megasporangium bears megaspore. That megaspore will develop into ovule, and inside the ovule you will find female gamete. This is about the structure of female cone. Once the male gametes or the pollen grains develop completely, they undergo pollination. What do you mean by pollination? Pollination means the transfer of pollen grains from male reproductive structures to female reproductive structure. I forgot to tell you one important thing. In case of gymnosperm, you will find two types of plants. One is monoecious plant and another one is dioecious plant. Monoecious plant means both the male reproductive and female reproductive structures, they are present on the single plant. A plant will be there. In the same plant, you will find male and female reproductive structures. These are nothing but monoecious plants. But in case of some of the gymnosperms, male reproductive structures develop on male plant and the female reproductive structures, they develop on female plant. So this is the basic difference about monoecious and dioecious. If you look at the plant cycas, in case of cycas, it is a dioecious plant actually, which means the male reproductive structures, the male cones developed on the male cycas plants and the female cones, they developed on the female plant. But in case of Pinus, it is a monoecious species. In the single plant, you can find both male cone and female cone. So, if you look at the pollination in case of gymnosperm, it is mainly by wind pollination. Wind is acting as a pollinating agent. So, wind helps in transferring pollen grains from male reproductive structure to the female reproductive structure. This kind of pollination is known as anemophilous pollination. Anemophily. Anemophily means the pollination occurring with the help of wind. See, all these dust, white color dust like things, they are nothing but pollen grains. They are getting transferred from male reproductive part to the female reproductive part with the help of wind. So, this is about the pollination. Once the pollination occurs, the pollen grains carrying the male gamete reaches the female reproductive part, and the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, which results in the formation of zygote. That zygote will develop into the seed, and the seed will later give rise to an entire plant. So, this is about the life cycle of gymnosperm. If you look here, the same thing is explained. An adult tree, it produces male and female cone. Male cone bears microsporophylls, and inside the microsporophylls you have microsporangia, and microsporangia bears microspores. Those microspores will develop into pollen grains. And similarly, in case of female cone, you have megasporophylls. These megasporophylls, they have megaspore, and that megaspore will develop into ovule. Inside the ovule, you will find the presence of female gamete. Once the male gamete and female gamete fuses, fertilization occurs, which results in the formation of seed. And that seed, when it is dispersed and when it gets the proper environment, the seed will germinate and it produces another young plant. So, this is about the brief life cycle in case of gymnosperms. So, this is about the morphology, both external and internal morphology of gymnosperms. In the next class, we will study about the classification of gymnosperms.